Yeah, keep working on it. You should get as much creators as you like as possible. You should do interviews. Because I think that'd be a kind of cool video if it was like a bunch of creators talking about the current climate for an artist. I'd be really interested to see that.
For this project, I was lucky enough to do 4 interviews with actual independent creators using Patreon. The interviews didn't directly make it into the series, but they certainly affected the content and the tone of the project. It felt wrong to not include these interviews, especially because these artists were so generous with their time and so honest and smart during the interviews. So here's a little collage of important moments and ideas. Hopefully you can find at least a little appreciation for what I had the honor to experience in full.
Can you introduce your channel? The Minute Hour is my channel. I am the Minute Hour also.
I know that's not an exact quote from Fight Club. I've been making these references for 20 years. I never do them straight anymore. I am way beyond that. Way beyond that.
It's just a comedy channel. It's just comedy.
My name is Grant Duffrin. I run a YouTube channel called 3GI.
Smash 1, Smash 2, Smash 3.
And I got a Patreon.
I'm Michael Berry. I've had a YouTube channel called Like a Fox Studios for a few years now.
Sir.
Perchance, a kiss might mend this hollowed heart, might ail me of this anguish.
But I've actually been using it for like 3 years now.
Hi, my name is Matt Carlin. I'm the producer of Office Hours Live with Tim Heidecker.
Bruce is out there on his hog. Patty, if little Stevie calls, tell him I'm out riding around on my motorcycle. I gotta find the heartland.
They've been doing the show for coming up on about 5 years, or Tim has been doing the show for about 5 years now. And then I got involved about a year ago. So he brought me in to start the Patreon because I had some more experience in that arena of things.
Do you think it is possible to earn 100% of your income from TMH's Patreon? This is what we have now is good, where I want to have a creative writing job and the Patreon, so I can use the Patreon money for TMH stuff specifically, and I can use my actual job money on like food and shelter.
It is a living wage for sure. It's not necessarily a super comfortable living in LA, wanting the lifestyle that, everyone's accustomed to of working in entertainment necessarily from just that, but also entertainment by its very nature is just, you have different sources of income and that's how it works.
So $60 a month is like kind of a really nice thing because I don't have to take a loss for all my videos now. I can put that back into it, and $60 a month is honestly as much as it costs right about now.
Of course it's possible to make a living on Patreon. It's possible to go to the moon. Whatever you're willing to put your energy into, you can achieve.
I'll say this, Patreon, I wouldn't eat with that money. I couldn't, more than 3 times. So it's nice to you're gonna need, Patreon's not gonna let you quit your job unless you have 100,000 subscribers. Cause then you'll have $1,000 on Patreon, and 1,000, 12,000 a year isn't a living wage, but it's enough to eat, literally. So
probably not achievable, probably not attainable. I don't know. I'm at a stage in my life where I think I kind of just want to get a normal job and not have to try to rough these waters anymore.
What other work do you do to supplement income? Does that work interfere with TMH or vice versa? Not recently, but the past 2 years, I've been lucky enough to have a creative writing job.
I don't keep track of time anymore. I just know I work between 40 and 60 hours a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
All for 3GI.
For 3GI, and also I do freelance work.
Gotcha.
Right now I'm a delivery driver, so that's a harsh reality there. So it's all right money, but it's, I'd like to be making more. Basically, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm hoping, it's like the old post-college thing where you work a job that's like terrible, but you're hoping to get like a job at a desk, which will probably also be terrible. I don't know. But that's what I'm hoping to end up by the end of the year or something.
So many hours a week. Depends on the week, depends on how like what I'm working on, but it consumes almost all of my time.
But I think personally, like the most like fair and like that lines up with sort of my like principles, I guess, would just be that like when people get a one-time donation and it's just straight to the person, because yeah, it's like Patreon is offering a service and that's good, but also like there is kind of a corporate element to it of them like sort of they're incentivized to make me more money so that they can make more money.
Alluding to this notion of what is Patreon actually doing, because I think at their lowest tier, I believe they take 8%. And I mean, the fact that I'm not even positive about that is really indicative of the sort of insidious nature of these tech companies, that they're transparent, but they are and they aren't.
Glad it exists for now because I'm making money off of it, but it is a shit service and there could be something much better. But also we shouldn't need a middleman. We shouldn't need a middleman, but here we are. This whole internet is just a middleman, platforms. It's not a great system.
The Rolling Stones can make $1 billion being the Rolling Stones, whereas, in the Renaissance, the guy playing the lute or whatever was just like, that was low. The arts traditionally were kind of low. So maybe it's a fair correction in the world that there is this middle ground, and I don't know. It's very interesting. I don't think any of us have the answer. I don't think there is.
Yeah, I shouldn't say that the world doesn't need more artists, but maybe the world doesn't need any more artists trying to make it on their own.
I don't know. It's super weird, and I'm thinking about it because I never really considered that it is like sort of like viewing art as work, but not necessarily viewing artists all equally as like workers. It's like, no, you have to create the art that would make you money.
I mean, and it's not black and white either, because like they have built a really cool, useful platform, like that can't be denied. That has value.
I like Patreon. I don't know how else I could get people. I don't know how else I could be making like a monthly income like this doing what I do. I sell merch and I do the Patreon. That's where the majority of my money comes from. I think Patreon's a great supplement because I'm not somebody who makes money on YouTube. And I have friends that just make all their money on YouTube, and I don't get it. It doesn't work for what I do, I feel like.
So when you see ads on the minute-hour videos, and you do probably, that money doesn't go to me, never has. I have not made a cent from advertising off the minute-hour. That all goes to the copyright holders. So YouTube is fine with that arrangement because they make money off of it.
I'm not going to outfox like these tech companies with, who their sole purpose is to monetize and take their cut and make tons of money. And again, all this being said, on an individual level, when I've dealt with these kind of places, including Patreon, they've been nothing but supportive. They've been super nice to me. They've been super helpful. They've been responsive. And on a one-to-one level, it seems like great people who are genuine about what they're doing. But if you zoom out and look at this entity, I have misgivings about it for sure, and I have questions about it.
I'm glad that I have a Patreon because I've taken in a lot of money from Patreon, and it's from people who donate to me on Patreon. But when I think about that, then I think about all the money that Patreon's got from me. You know, all these people who just want to give me money, they don't want to give Patreon money, but yet Patreon makes money off of every single creator that goes through there.
And so it's like, I understand people who go, Patreon rules. I use Patreon and I made like a whole bunch of money and now I quit my desk job. Like, that's awesome. And then I could totally see someone going, yeah, Patreon is like, it's like having an influence on what art happens, you know, because you need to now do all the stuff and every artist needs to now work a similar way.
Okay, so this is the part. Okay, so about Patreon specifically, I don't give a fuck about Patreon, the company. I think they're probably very stupid. I remember I developed my opinion on Patreon when they changed the logo 3.5 years ago to make it whatever the fuck it is now. It doesn't even look like a P. It doesn't even look like a P. And when that happened, I saw the logo change on my app on my phone. I was like, oh, these guys are going down the toilet. They've made it this far, and I think it's because, you know, they're essentially stealing millions of dollars from hardworking creators. They gotta, you know, I guess they deserve some credit for creating the platform, but as a business, it's obviously horseshit. It's fucking nonsense. I mean, Patreon just takes your money because they provide you with this platform.
I use it too. I'm a patron of people. Feels good to support artists you like.
And I think that's great. You know, that's great for me. And that's how I try to use Patreon with other people. I just go, well, I think you need this. And I would like to see you keep working. So if you could, you know, if my $4 keeps you from, you know, like needing to worry about groceries and gets another video out this month, do it. Like, I'm on board.
We're making this deal with our eyes open. We know it's not going to be everything we want. We know they're a big company. We know that at the end of the day, they don't answer to us really. We don't really answer to them. It's just sort of like a faceless business arrangement to an extent.
I don't need to, it's coming out of people that like my stuff. I should give back to them. I shouldn't be milking them, you know, for the benefit of like some guy in a suit. Like,
they tried. They send me emails all the time about like, yeah, you should try to get more patrons and you should try to charge them a lot more. It's like, yeah, thanks, Patreon. I wonder why you want me to do that, you sons of bitches. That's the other thing, is like Patreon encourages creators to screw their audience as much as possible because like they don't give a fuck. They just want the money. They just want the money. Have you ever considered trying a sale? Have you ever considered trying a flash sale of 50% off? That's a great way to get hundreds of new patrons. And then it's only 50% off once, so they'll get tricked into paying more money the next time. Isn't that great? This is the sort of great advice that Patreon has. They're always giving me great advice on how to screw my people. My people.